What movie was it? Do you have an opener?
I went and saw the new Ghostbusters.
Without me?
I did. You were gone. I'm sorry. It was the only thing showing in that time slot. It spawned a interesting conversation. It's cute.
That's fair. I mean, yeah. I'm not expecting any. I mean, even Afterlife was kind of like, yeah, okay, that was fun.
I mean, Afterlife had a really nice send off.
That's true.
Harold, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of funny, especially with these properties of these older properties that are getting these sequels or reboots. No one's ever really happy.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, you know, you had the reboot with all the ladies, and that one got totally shit on, and Afterlife came out, and then that one kind of got shit on for all the fan service, and you're kind of like, well, it's
what do you want?
It's one or the other.
What do you want?
You know, it's like you can't really win.
What do you want?
So I'm kind of now understanding why studios are kind of like, screw it, we're gonna
do what we want
because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's like the studios are like they're Ryan Gosling in The Notebook.
Yeah, it's
like, what do you want? Just say it.
Because, you know, there's like now with this one, there's fan service to the first one for the new, like, you know, they brought back the little Puff,
Stay Puff, yeah,
Stay Puff guys, and you know they're the minions of it. They're the cute little comic relief for a second. You're just kind of sitting there like, okay, you know, and they bring back the Slimer, and
yeah,
you're just kind of sitting. It's kind of like you just find yourself kind of waiting for
where's the next one?
Yeah, you know, they make reminds me of the time we became giant dogs.
Cut to well, this isn't as fun as I thought it would be.
Yeah. You know, and you're just kind of sitting there like, okay. But, you know, I used my movie pass thing, so.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, whatever. But it was interesting, I guess.
Is it Regal or AMC? I can't remember.
Regal.
Damn it. That's right.
But I really wanted to get that popcorn bowl, but I didn't see him there anymore.
The Dune one?
No, they made the they made the ghost trap.
Trying to have a little night to yourself?
They made the ghost trap.
No, that's cool.
I was like, that'd just be cool to have.
Actually, yeah.
Just sitting, because, you know, it's just like, it was the size of it and everything. I was like, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. It was fun. Yeah. It's a fun watch. You know, I think my mom asked me, how was it? And I was like, oh, you know, evil ghost god trapped in a thing. We release it, and now we got to stop ghost god.
Was New York getting frozen over kind of cool looking?
Yeah, it was cool. The ice thing was kind of interesting. And I weirdly had Dan Aykroyd in it. I really enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
Him. He had more of a
role in this
one. And, you know, he's just the ultra believer out of the group. And he's just like, yeah, you know. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, if you like Ghostbusters, it's like, because I liked Afterlife.
Are you trying to sell the movie right now? Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, if you like Ghostbusters, there's just more Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Oh, what they did do, which I did appreciate in the beginning of it, they opened the vault and they did a bunch of trivia about the original story.
Oh, okay.
And like when it came out and who directed it. It's just a little kind of like, if you didn't know, I feel like it's for the younger people. Like there are these other ones that started this.
Remember the cartoon?
Yeah, I do remember.
Remember when Sigourney Weaver changed typical careers in between two movies?
Yeah, to ridiculous, like, well, because in the first one she's a professional cellist.
Yeah. For
the New York Symphony.
Yeah.
And then the second one she's a historical art restorer.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh? She was busy in college. Forgot about that.
With a kid.
And a single mom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She could do it all.
Wait a second. Isn't that Bill Murray's kid?
No.
Who the fuck's the father?
They don't. There's a brief conversation and she just says he's not in the picture anymore. So
what happened between the first... All right, we're all like... Okay.
We're not talking about Ghostbusters today. All right, yeah. But yeah, so that's what I did. That was,
lead us in!
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob. This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. Hey.
Yeah, we're doing this today. We're doing...
It's depressing.
The Road. We decided to do a little bit...
Bleak.
Oh, well, welcome. Welcome to Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
Dark
Tommy.
bleak.
This is Jacob.
I'm a person.
Cohort. We review movies, and we kind of go through the history of them, where they came from, who starred in them, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the best of our abilities, yeah.
To the best of our abilities. So if it's your first time, welcome. And if you're back, welcome back. And yeah, we are doing 2009's The Road, because coming out...
I think it's going to out the day before...
I think it's out today.
Today?
I think it got pushed forward.
Wait, I thought it was coming out Thursday, so it would be...
I think it's the 11th. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's like... I think it's coming out the 10th.
Wait, are we talking about...
Fallout.
Are we talking about... Are we pretending the release date of today, or are we talking about this being recorded on the 10th?
Let's talk to them in the present. Yes. So
our current present, not...
It's out now.
When you're listening to this, it's going to be out.
It's out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What was the show again?
We thought it'd be fun to do some apocalyptic stuff because the Fallout Amazon series is out. So we thought it'd be kind of fun to do some Into the World stuff, considering Fallout is a video game series that follows
post-apocalyptic,
a giant fallout.
Yeah.
After
nuclear fallout.
A nuclear fallout. So we decided
it's what's about to happen.
It's a stark vision of the future. So
go North Korea, let's do it.
We're doing the Road, which is a story about a man and a son navigating the world after a cataclysmic event leaves Earth dead and barren.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, very heavy drama, very dialogue based a lot. I felt like
yes and no.
Yeah, it's like there aren't a lot of conversations, but when there are, they're pretty heavy.
Yeah, which and
a lot of
in a world of nothingness. Make sure what you say matters.
Yes. But yeah, so let's get on the road again.
On the road again.
Sing it with me, Shrek.
Can't wait to get back on the road again.
What do we do now? Oh yeah. So this was
Who did that song actually?
I actually don't know. That's really bad, but I just think of Donkey from Shrek. I'm an adult.
That's I don't know any other words, the words of the song other than that. Anyway, so all right, yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, this came out 2009, but it was first released through the series of film festivals.
Yes,
it had its premiere at the Venice Film Festival, September 3rd, 2009, and then it went through like 10 film festivals or so. It looked like
7 to 10. The Toronto Film Festival. Long story short, it ended up actually releasing November 25th, 2009 in the United States.
Yeah, and apparently it was originally kind of slated to have a 2008 release, but producers decided to push it back and hold it. Like they held it for specific reasons, and then even like November 25th, that was pushed back from like a July release or something. Because they wanted to put it in like to Oscar territory.
Oh, I actually didn't. I wanted to bring that up. Thank you for bringing that up. I wanted to bring up its accolades. I was just curious.
Oh yeah, I don't think it had any Oscar.
No,
but it did win like I think BAFTA awards and stuff like that.
It was nominated for a lot of stuff
in the Oscars.
No, the Critics' Choice.
Okay,
I just looked. Yeah, it was a quick view. Actually, yeah, there's nothing on the Oscars.
The bleakness of this film kind of like it. I mean, it. If anything, for like awards, performances are like the thing that I would give.
I mean, yeah, and we'll get into that, but also the talent they had in this.
Yeah.
And it's also like a lot of talent for really short amount of time.
Yeah.
And you're kind of, when someone pops up, you're just kind of like, really? Mm-hmm. And we'll get into all those people, but you're just like, really? And then you count it and you're like, you were in this movie for about 5 minutes, honestly, like about 5 minutes, but you killed it. And for those 5 minutes, you did very well. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, would you want to start with this?
Yeah, let's start with Cormac.
So it is obviously it's based on a book called The Road by Cormac McCarthy, who actually just passed away in 2003. Is an American writer. One of the
2003, 2023.
Sorry, that's what I meant. 2023. just recently in 2003.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? Am I high school again?
But an American writer, known for 12 novels, 2 plays, 5 screenplays, and 3 short films, is credited as one of the great American novelists.
Yeah.
The Road was released in 2006, which I just thought was interesting that we got a movie so quickly afterwards.
Well, so even like No Country for Old Men was a quick turnaround as well.
Was a book?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cormac McCarthy.
Oh, same thing?
Yeah.
Hey, we learned something. I didn't see that on his thingamabob.
What?
Yeah.
He like originally wrote No Country for Old Men. It was
that one didn't pop out to me.
It was going to be a screenplay, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna turn it into a book instead." And that was like, I think I want to say that came out.
Hey, there it is.
2003, and then that Coen Brothers adapted it and did it in like 2007.
So yeah, No Country came out in 2005. Well, I know the next book I'm getting. What in the world? That just didn't pop out to me. Interesting.
That blow like yeah. I just assumed you knew that. Because yeah, No Country is like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, and that's a great. That's also a fucking downer.
That's all I like, man. Gotta feel alive.
Yeah, it had that.
Well, it's Cormac. He's like known for a lot of post-apocalyptic and Western.
Very Western.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we had that conversation. You're like, oh, I like Westerns, and I was like,
yeah.
You like No Country for Old Men? That is Western DNA seeping out that thing.
But it's not like the cowboy Western.
No, it's a more modern day.
Yeah. And I love me a modern. I love me a good like Western drama. The bleakness to all that stuff.
Because you liked The Devil All the Time too.
Oh fuck yeah.
Same kind of
very Western. Yeah,
very Western.
It's I guess like when we talk about Westerns, when you say Western, my mind immediately
goes
to
John Wayne.
And the cowboy.
Kind of true, like the OG True Grit.
Yeah. Which I mean, those are also their own type things, and those are like, and upon a lot of reflection and looking at that, those are like samurai stories, and I love a samurai story. So like,
yeah, that's kind of this interesting, and this we've had this. There's that kind of art house horror thing happening. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of the same thing with these Western dramas. It's like they are more modern day versions of Westerns. Like because even the devil all the time. It's like, it's technically a period piece because it's post-war. Yeah. But it just has that very art house kind of feel to it. Very dialogue-based.
I see what you mean, yeah. Even like, well, I mean, kind of going to that, like even like moments of like the first season of True Detective have that's also, very Western feel.
Well, that's what it's just funny. It's like you should, because that's I've talked about too. It's like you should go back and you should watch the remake of 3:10 to Yuma and True Grit and stuff, because they took that cowboy thing out of it, and it's about
well, I tell you, little lady.
They took that out of it, and it's this really in a lot of the time, very man versus wilderness. Yeah. Because it's you lose your horse, you're fucked.
Oh dude, that makes me want to watch The Revenant again.
Oh,
that's very Western.
Yeah, this is such a genre on its own that
it's
I actually really like these kinds of movies.
Oh, I love them. I love them. And like the thing is like, well, it's really interesting to like make that comparison of like post-apocalyptic it's like survival of the West, because there's no laws, no rule. I mean,
it's reverting back to a less civilized time,
where you're
a Western
you're
civilized
forcing a sense of like whatever morality and civility,
the social construct of forgetting that we're actually animals, and people are going to do what they need to do to survive, and so that's always a really fun. That fun is a weird word, but you know what I mean. It's a very interesting way to look into the psyche of what will happen, and I think a lot of times stuff like this does do that. Like Walking Dead really got into that, but I kind of like it more in a 2-hour long, 3-hour long, just okay, now we're done, wrap it up, okay, move it on, because anyway.
Or if it is like episodic, like maybe the short series, not like
like a mini series kind of thing. But also I just want to point out that The Road also won a Pulitzer Prize for fiction in 2007 and the James Tate Black Memorial Prize for fiction in 2006.
Yeah, the way that Cormac McCarthy writes is very unique as well. and like
it's weird.
He's like it's like run-on sentences.
It's very weird.
Like he doesn't really use a lot of punctuation.
He does. There's no quotations for anyone speaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting thing because you're reading it as the narration is presenting it, and then suddenly you realize that you're in a conversation between two people, and it kind of just
it's really hard for me to read with my ADD because like I already have a hard enough time when I'm reading anything where my mind wanders, and a lot of people have this, but like your eyes keep following the page, but you're not registering
what you're actually reading. Yeah,
and
you're not retaining the information.
I'm not retaining. So like I literally, I think I've thrown a book across the room because I've reread the same page more than like 4 times.
I mean, that's very fair, and like the punctuation thing is, I did have to go back a couple times because I did have that realization of, oh, these two people have been talking to each other this whole time, and I didn't really register.
Yeah, and that's why it's like scripts are so much easier for me to read because it fucking just tells you like who's talking.
This is Bill.
Yeah.
Bill doesn't like Ted.
Yeah.
Go.
Well, not like that.
I know, yeah. I'm speaking dick.
But it's like Bill says something and then says something, you know?
Yeah.
Like but yeah. Well, so yeah, Cormac McCarthy wrote it.
It's just if you are interested in the book, it's a very slow read because it is very much it's painting a very bleak. It's one of those kind of things I could actually see someone liking the movie. You know, the whole thing is I like the book better. I could very much see the movie.
Well, so also the movie adaptation of this is regarded as one of the most accurate movie adaptations of a book.
So I unfortunately was not able to finish it, but I got a good chunk in there, and I will say it's very, very close.
Yeah.
I will agree to that.
There's only one scene in the book that's not in the movie. One sequence, pretty much.
It's in the book and not in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's in the book, the pregnant woman and the cannibals that take her baby and just put it on a pike and roast it. Okay. Yeah. It's like that. Like there's an entire sequence of that in the book that's not in the movie.
Saying that might actually be a deleted scene that just didn't make it in there because under the credits there is someone down here called Baby Eater, uncredited.
Interesting. Well, there's also though, like all of the.
That's a heads up. That's what happens in this book. In this story, by the way, a lot of people eating.
Yeah, there's the cannibalism's a big theme in it. I mean, possibly, but like also like the big thing is like there's so many like just minor characters like when they're in the house, when they see the cannibals like chasing after the woman and the kid, and all of that stuff. So like that could have just been one of those characters.
Yeah,
you know.
I just thought it was such a because there's like I get that, but it's also like there's man in cellar, militant, boy running from cannibals. Road gang member, stuff like that. Baby Eater's just so specific that I was like kind of make me maybe that was for the censorship and everything. Maybe that was just pushing it too far rating wise. They were like,
I don't know if they've even. I mean, yeah. From my knowledge, I don't think it was even filmed. So
yeah, I didn't see anything about that. Maybe interesting. Yeah. So
well, let's go into director and all that stuff. Then we can kind of go more
dark stuff. Our director is John Hillcoat, an Australian director known for a lot of music videos. I saw.
I would say predominantly known for doing music videos.
Yeah,
like
that was most of it.
His filmography is very, very small.
But like for Placebo, Bush, Depeche Mode, just some.
Yeah.
Nick Cave, which is funny because Nick Cave also did the music for this. Which I thought was interesting, along with, and then Viggo Mortensen performed some songs in it too.
Oh, interesting.
I did a lot of reading about Viggo Mortensen. He is a very interesting cat.
He is a very strange man.
He's got a lot of hobbies. He's quite the Renaissance man of stuff, of artsy fartsy stuff.
But for like filmography with John Hillcoat, though, like the biggest thing is this movie Lawless that I've heard of.
I've heard
Shia LaBeouf, Tom Hardy, Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
And then he directed an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, and then another movie called 999.
Which I didn't. So it's interesting. It's like this movie itself. I forgot to write down the producers' names. I meant to put them down. It seemed much more producer driven than like this wasn't like a director or writer being like, we really want to do this. It was like these producers got the rights to do The Road from Cormac McCarthy, and they like found a director that they felt fit their style. They found someone that could just do a great adaptation of the book. Because the writer Joe Penhall. Biggest thing that I saw was Mindhunters, which was that Netflix show that David Finch.
Right. And he created that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Joan Penhall did an English-Australian playwright and screenwriter. And Mindhunter was the only thing that really stuck out to me.
I wrote down some voices because it was really interesting.
What was that again?
It has a young Daniel Craig and Kelly MacDonald in it. It's a Scottish.
Yeah.
Is Daniel Craig Scottish or is he Irish?
Who?
Or is Daniel Craig American? No, Daniel Craig is.
I'm not playing this game because I thought Alan Tudyk was English for 15 years.
Well, I mean that he fits that.
Well, it's because the first thing I ever saw him in was Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That just adhered to. Yeah.
But anywho, yeah. No, some voices. I think Daniel Craig, he plays like a schizophrenic man who's destroying brothers' stuff. I can't remember what
a schizophrenic causes havoc in his brother's restaurant.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. I'm going to add this to my watch list because he said it's a young Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig. Yeah, he's got to be at least British because he was James Bond.
So does that really matter?
No American has ever played James Bond. Pierce Brosnan's British.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, isn't Sean Connery Scottish?
Well, yeah.
We're just saying no American.
Yes. Damn it.
Yeah. He was born in Liverpool.
Okay.
Oh, in Cheshire, England. So yes.
Okay. Well, okay. So yeah, Joe Penhall. Well, that was. Oh yeah, some voices. That's why we get there. So yeah, I mean, so the big thing is like the producers, they got like John Hillcoat because they liked the aesthetic of like what he did with his music videos. The bleakness of this film, like they like take out all of the color. Like this movie is almost black and white.
Yeah, and it's something that's just kind of on that note too, is just kind of an interesting choice, both in story. I'm going to say in story because of the similarities between the two, but in story of the fact that you don't really ever know as viewing this world what has happened.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah.
So just to give kind of a context for people that maybe haven't seen it or read it, it is everything is ash, everything is gray, everything is the way that is actually really good. It might as well be in black and white.
Yeah,
because of the bleakness of it, and makes a very interesting
world void of color.
Yeah. And it's kind of and it's cool too because it kind of has these moments, and it might be on purpose, maybe not, but it's like that Sin City thing. Every now and then there will be color. And
it's definitely on purpose.
But I mean, in the Sin City is such. I guess they worded that
the vibrancy.
Sin City is so on purpose. It's so the red lips but this is like the beetle, and the green of the beetle just pops so much more.
Yeah, because it's a representation of life.
I know.
That's why
I'm talking to them, not you. God.
But you say like I don't know if it's on purpose. It's clearly on purpose.
It's not what I meant. I just clarified that, like the Sin City thing. It's not obnoxiously in your face.
No, it's subtle.
It's not.
It's not Schindler's List, like red.
Yeah. It's not like that. It's very subtly in there. That's what I meant. Fucking. Anyways,
who does this movie star? Tommy?
Ruffled. Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah. Who is he from?
Aragon Daddy.
Did you know?
King of Gondor.
Did you know when he kicked the helmet and he actually broke his foot?
That scream was pain. It was real pain. Hey, he broke his foot. I broke my foot.
Did you know that when they were filming it, they did this thing of them that made them in the back so they looked smaller?
Did you know that?
I think it's called perspective.
There's actually no Middle Earth. It's just New Zealand.
Oh.
Wow. But yeah, Viggo Mortensen
don't exist.
Viggo Mortensen plays man, and We've never
done.
Did we just talk about doing Hidalgo, or is that another practice one?
Did we talk about doing Hidalgo?
Yeah, we did.
What?
Yeah, we talked about doing that was years ago, obviously, because it's been so long.
But
But
we were doing a horse bracket, like
it had something to do with Sahara. There was some connection there.
well, I mean, that was practice one.
Yeah, but the came up about we're like, oh, Hidalgo would be interesting.
Maybe we're just talking about people that like bought their horses or something.
It's probably something really random.
Yeah, well, because Viggo Mortensen, I mean, he Lord of the Rings. He
He did buy his horse. I forgot.
Yeah.
I did forget about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Viggo Mortensen. I did just watch Captain Fantastic. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a cool little film where he and his 6 kids live out in the Pacific Northwest woods, and he's very anti-establishment, live off the grid guy with his wife. And then circumstances happen in which he now kind of has to reintegrate with them into society.
Is this a drama or is this an?
It's a dark comedy.
Okay.
It's very up his alley.
This sounds so. It's like part of me. I was like, is this like Rambo? Like where are we going with?
But he homeschools them, and and they're very intelligent. And make sure that they exercise a lot and don't eat crappy sugar. And whatever. But yeah, because of the circumstances, he has to reintegrate with them, and it's kind of this drama about the pushback between these two on the grid, off the grid worlds colliding.
Yeah,
and it was I just put it on one day, and it was very interesting.
Yeah.
And history of violence. And Eastern Promises. They might have seen Viggo Mortensen's ass. I've come to realize because I pretty much try to watch anything with him because I really like him. Mm-hmm. He shows off his butt a lot. Yeah. He has a full on naked fight scene in Eastern Promises.
Yeah, I know. I had an old college buddy who, after watching Eastern Promises, he said for a long time he would sleep naked and with a knife under his bed
in case he was attacked. Is that who I think it is?
Blonde hair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as that's the story, but I was like, I think I know who this is.
Of course.
But yeah, Viggo Mortensen, and also I just like I was saying this Renaissance man of the artsy fartsies. Mm-hmm. Very, very activist, writes poetry, does photography, has 16 books of published works of photography and poetry. He's just a very interesting dude. Born very around the world, has been a lot of places, done a lot of things.
Pick a fucking lane, man.
It's kind of crazy. I was just went on this deep dive of his Wikipedia and just things that he's known for, and
that's great. I mean,
he's just a very interesting. What was that movie that I always bring up?
Where was he born?
Coffee and Cigarettes.
Where is he?
I just had it open because I don't want to. It's kind of all over the place. Yeah, there he is right here. So he was born in New York, and then he was raised mainly in Argentina and Denmark.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So yeah,
the guy comes from money.
And then they moved to Venezuela, then Denmark, then Argentina. Then he went to school, and he specialized he got his bachelor's in Spanish studies and politics. Then graduated, went to Europe. Then lived in UK, Spain, returned to Denmark. The dude has just been, and then he came back here, and
at some point he's like, I'm gonna be an actor.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm getting jealous right now.
He's very, very interesting dude.
I want that fucking life, man.
But it's one of those like I was saying, the Coffee and Cigarettes movie. It'd be a fun conversation to just sit down with him and just kind of pick his brain about stuff.
I don't know. I'm just imagining he's like, you'd be a really cool person to have a conversation with. Probably not. He's probably a pompous asshole.
Do you think so?
No, not really.
I don't know. It feels on paper. It feels like it could go that way, but I get this feeling he's really nice.
I feel like he would just lose quick interest.
He wouldn't want to talk to me. Let me put it this way: I would talk at him.
Hey, remember that time in Lord of the Rings when
you kicked the helmet and broke your foot? Do you like being naked in your movies?
I've seen your balls.
Yeah, that's how I'll start off. Just lead with that.
Hey, are you uncircumcised? Because it kind of looks like
I couldn't really tell.
Your captain was still wearing his hat from underneath a little bit.
Can I see it?
Okay, let's move on from Viggo Mortensen.
Yes, but that's Viggo.
I got the kid next.
We have next who plays boy Kodi Smit-McPhee.
Smit-McPhee.
Smit-McPhee, who is, I guess, I didn't know this because I just didn't recognize him. He is now Nightcrawler for the more recent stuff for the X-Men.
Well, I mean, the one before Dark Phoenix, maybe?
The one that I wrote down was Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix.
The Apocalypse, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, with, what's his name?
Oscar Isaac?
Oscar Isaac, thank you.
Yeah.
I really don't mind that one. Another one gets shit on a lot. But
Apocalypse?
I don't mind that one.
It's not as bad as Dark Phoenix.
Nothing's as bad as
Yeah. No, Apocalypse is...
Dark Phoenix is like the Fantastic Four. Anytime they try and do that story, for some reason they just fumble it hard, and I don't know why. But
yeah, he's also... Kodi is also... he's the young boy in the Let Me In.
Yes.
Let the Right One In.
I didn't know I recognized him, and it wasn't until I did the notes that I was like, okay, that's what it is. And then also one of my favorite, Paranorman.
Is he the voice of
Yes.
cool.
He's Norman. Very cute, little spooky.
That's a
kids
fun movie.
It's a very fun movie.
Oh,
Like
wait
that
a
and
second.
Frank and Weenie.
I'm getting Paranorman confused with Monster House, I think. I am. I don't know.
That's another great one.
I don't know if I've seen Paranorman, actually.
If you like Monster House, Paranorman, and Frank, that's all in that.
Monster House is great.
On that
We
world.
need to do another kids block.
All right.
Yeah. Let's
about
do
that.
another kids block. Yeah. All right.
Did we do Monster House?
Huh?
Have we done Monster House?
Uh-uh.
What was the last kids one we did?
I don't know. Let's not worry about it.
Okay.
Because we're already at a half hour.
Okay.
So let's just get through the next because
Uh,
the only other person that we have done Charlize Theron.
Yes, who, funny enough, was Mad Max Fury Road, another apocalypse movie, which I the weird correlation.
Very different characters.
Very different. She steals the show in the brief moments that she's in there, and it is
so heartbreaking
and in a wonderful way.
I love the scene of her just walking into the darkness, and just it's almost as if she is swallowed by the nothing.
I will say that I did think the scene in the book of that is a little bit different, and the book hit a little bit harder.
Really?
Yeah, because of just the way Viggo, I guess just in general, the way Viggo Mortensen played this character, and this is just my interpretation from the book, he was in the movie, Viggo plays him very lighter to me.
There's an interesting sense of I get the sense from the woman in the movie that she finds her husband now cowardly.
Yes.
And weak.
Yes. Like she has come to a resolve that he is not willing to accept.
Yeah.
And she does not like him for that.
Yeah.
She, in fact, hates him for that. But there's something just about, not saying in the book he comes off cold. He just, the loving father thing was way more present in the movie, because in the book it kind of just felt more like, I need to keep you alive. I'm going to keep you alive. And the movie was very... Yeah. I was hearing Kratos. That's what it felt. That's great. That's actually great. That's a great. That's what it felt like. It felt like Kratos. I'm gonna keep you alive no matter what.
It's my duty to keep you alive.
And he was still caring and loving of the child, but the movie just kind of presented it different. So the book, it was way colder of an interaction.
For a movie, they kind of want to make it seem a little bit, a little light
more
in this bleak world.
Yeah. And then just some honorable mentions to Charlize Theron. Sorry, Devil's Advocate, Mad Max, Monster. She's been around. She's great.
Academy Award-winning actress.
Yeah, she's a badass.
She is. She's funny as hell too. I love her comedies. Yeah. What was that Seth Rogen one?
I was like an Arrested Development.
Oh my God, Mr.
F. Honorable mentions. Robert Duvall is in this, who plays Old Man. Eli, and then
I have Michael Kenneth Williams next.
Yes,
who I didn't know passed away.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, yeah, that was
just
sad. A couple of years ago. Right?
Yeah.
Who plays Thief? I think he's
the Thief. Thief. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite roles from him is Community. When he comes back, he's the biology teacher.
Right.
No cell phones in my classroom.
The thing I've watched most recently with him is probably Lovecraft Country.
Oh, he's in that.
Yeah, he plays Jonathan Major's dad, and he's like alcoholic, real rough guy.
I mean, he always plays like super complex characters,
and he was really. I remember because
in The Wire. I forget the name of the character, but he's like one of the most like
iconic
characters from
that.
He
does that. He does this kind of
yeah
darkness really well.
Yeah.
I remember him really popping out in that show, which over.
And then I got Guy Pearce.
Again, you're like,
he plays veteran,
but he's in for 30 seconds. Like,
but again, every single time these people are. Oh shit! You really moved that. Hold on a second.
How did I move it?
I don't know. Because your foot.
Oh, sorry.
Move that back. That'll be interesting.
It's falling apart. For those listening, we had a little technical.
We had another video camera.
We were kicking and hitting stuff.
You're kicking and hitting stuff.
Your face.
Your face. Oh yeah, Guy Pearce, short, little role in it, but
Memento, I guess, right?
I mean, yeah, that's one of the biggest ones.
Time Machine, Count of Monte Cristo.
He's Australian, right?
What is up with you in
I don't know.
today?
Where's everybody from?
English. He's
Okay.
English.
But yeah, and then I don't know. Do you have anyone else written down for movie?
Just because he's also kind of a big character or important. Garrett Dillahunt, who's the guy that Father Man shoots.
Yeah.
Part of that group.
I mean, he was the only other recognizable face.
Yeah, and he was in Deadwood, which is he's in No Country for Old Men.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a kind of a pivotal moment to the story because of the son seeing his father just drop a fool. Like,
it's a very important moment,
yeah,
just for the story. The structure of this story is absolutely fantastic.
And that's actually the biggest thing about the biggest difference I would say too is just when things happen are very different from the book and from what I read and the movie. They just they took it and just put it in a different order.
Oh, fair, okay.
Than it happened in the book. So
yeah. Well, let's get into reviews because we're running a little
getting long in the tooth.
Yeah. What'd you just say?
Long in the tooth.
Is that a phrase?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going down that road right now.
Tell the scores.
We're not going down that road right now. Okay. IMDb's got this at a 7.2. And then on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 74% tomato meter and a 68 audience score, which I think is all really fair. I mean, and makes sense. Critics, I know just knowledgeably, I just know that critics have, it's not a perfect movie, but high praise for a lot of things for it. And this movie is just not for everyone.
No.
68 is still pretty high for an audience score, but they
didn't get it, man.
It's really not a hard. There's nothing to not get. It's just maybe you just don't like cannibalism and sad stories.
I totally misused long in the tooth, by the way. So it means rather old. So just wanted to clarify that I know my mistake and I acknowledge it.
Own up to it.
And I acknowledge it. So when it comes to the critics on Metacritic, this has a 64 out of 100, which comes to generally favorable, with 26 positives, 6 mixed, and 1 negative. So at the top of the top, we have an 88 out of 100 by Claudia Pugh at USA Today, excuse me. While the film is not as resonant as the novel, it is an honorable adaptation, capturing the essence of the bond between father and son. Just thought that was kind of short, simple. It's that thing where
it's like that's a way to look at it for sure. But that's kind of like the bare bones.
It's also, but the thing is we're getting into that reboot sequel territory thing where it's almost impossible for people to not bring up the book.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, the book is also really close in time period of it being
true.
Released, so.
Yeah, it's kind of fresh too.
Yeah.
And I just wrote a note to see Sean Levy at the Portland, Oregon. who gave it an 83 out of 100. The road walks a tremendously daring and delicate line between inspiration and horror, and it does so not only in the events it depicts, but in its very air and atmosphere. It was unforgettable on the page and impresses equally, or at least it does so remarkably often on screen.
I really like that, especially like one of my notes is actually about the score, the musical score.
Yeah,
because
I liked it.
The way that the music swells in this like sense of kind of like hope, like a nice like pleasant note of just like and then boom, and then like goes into this like really sad bleak. I was like, it's weirdly like hopeful and what I write. What's it? Sad and hopeful at the same time.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, it's like, I think the score is actually pretty perfect for what it is. The only thing I could see maybe either working the same way or better is to really have no music at all, to really go into that. Like, if you were sitting in theaters watching this and there was no music, it was just the sound would really add to the atmosphere of the bleak nothingness that has become our planet. But yeah,
the music is also super subtle.
And it's also like, as soon as you find out that Nick Cave did it. Yeah. And, it was Nick Cave and I want to give credit where credit's due. Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, who's an Australian musician and composer. It's just with that like team, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, it feels.
I don't know who Warren Ellis is.
Just a couple. I looked at some of the work at the time, but it's he's a member of the Bad Seeds. Oh, okay. So him and Nick Cave have worked together. Yeah. And just the kind of music that they have made, you know, you're like, yeah, okay, I see them being on this project. Yeah. But yeah.
Next review.
Oh yeah. I was like, I was doing something. 50 out of I just thought this was kind of what you're talking about, the whole "this isn't for everyone" thing. 50 out of 100. Kyle Smith at the New York Post doesn't offer plot or an inquiry into the evil in men's hearts. It simply wallows in the filth and inhumanity that surround a father and his pre-adolescent son as they march across the shattered remains of this country. Which I thought was just kind of interesting. It is, in a sense, they're right.
It's really interesting. It's like he gave it a 50, but what he wrote was 100% accurate.
Yeah. It's like, it's interesting because it really doesn't give you anything about anything.
It's not meant to.
No, but it's just, you really are just living
like,
in
this. Isn't like a really, this story isn't a commentary or anything. If anything, it's maybe a reflection of what humans could become in a situation like this, but it's not like talking about like, you know, No Country for Old Men is this sense of like talking about different generations and like the history of violence throughout generations and in America, and like there's like commentary.
I think there's commentary in this,
but it's not super heavy with it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it, you know, it's the father's paranoia is also causing a lot. Yeah, this goal of protecting the child, but you're also hindering the child with this level of how little you trust humanity. Yeah, and the son is the last remaining shred that is even tying him to what's left of his.
And a lot of that I feel is more to it's metaphorical and thematic for the story, but not so much like a social commentary on a reflection of our world right now. Does that make sense?
No. Yes, kind of, sort of.
Everything you just said about like with the paranoia of the father and all that stuff. Sure, yeah, you can like make it as like that's a social commentary on like, you know, the cycle of abuse in, you know, people in our world, our generations and whatnot. But that's just such an ingrained thing in general that I feel like a lot of the relationship of the boy and the father, or the boy and the man, and their relation with the world is more a metaphorical sense of what this bleak world represents. Okay. And it's thematic. It's not a commentary on us as individuals, as people, as a world. It's commentary on its own world. It's a metaphor. It's a hat with a hat.
Yeah.
That's how I perceive it.
No, yeah, totally. And I kind of see it more as, because of the whole, well, kind of what I brought up earlier about the people will do whatever it takes to survive thing, you know. The keeping the people in the cellar. That it's just this. It was kind of there were moments where I had this idea of like this whole cannibalism motif that we keep running into is so very heavy-handed, and then at the same time I was like, it's very possible that's exactly how this would go down very quickly. Like desperation.
Have you been to the Midwest?
Humans and desperation don't mix well.
No,
that's not a good thing.
What does Men in Black say? An individual a singular person can be very intelligent.
Oh, but people are dumb. Panic ridden. Yeah. Because he says something like, they could handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
A person can handle it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually a really great line.
Oh, it's a wonderful.
That's
line.
A great line for that movie.
That line has stuck with me my entire life, and I heard it when I was like 10 years old.
Well, and there's also the delivery of Tommy Lee Jones. People are dumb. That voice and and then the negative was 30 out of 100 by Jay Oberman at Village Voice. Pale by comparison to an action thriller like Children of Men, which I thought was funny because we brought up doing that one, or gross out eco catastrophe like Land of the Dead, squandering its ready-made zombie scenario. So, I don't know. I was like, pale by comparison to Children of Men and Land of the Dead, very different. Yeah, it's like they're both apocalyptic, but they're very
one's zombie, one's infertility.
Infertility. Yeah. And this is just everything's gone. It's all just gone. I don't know.
Well, I mean, so that's one of the things that I really like about this story is that Cormac McCarthy, and I'm glad they didn't in the screenplay. There's no explanation of why the world has gone to post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
It's apparently this movie's on like a top list of like climate change movies because like it's very heavily like maybe insinuated, well not insinuated, but like interpreted as climate change. Because
there's also this suddenness to it.
Yeah.
Because even when they wake up and obviously
the world is on fire.
Yeah, there is this very kind of like, what is happening? I don't know.
And also if you really look at like, the lack of color, it's almost as if the sun itself has kind of like blown itself out, or whatever like ozone that we have that creates that vibrancy, is depleted and gone. So now whatever light that is coming from the sun is more of it.
And there's like interesting kind of like there's still water. It still rains on a regular basis. It's still,
but like it's more tumultuous. Like that earthquake that they deal with, like it's like the world itself is dying.
Yeah, like
that's the best. That's how when I first watched it, I likened it to like the world has given, like the earth itself.
Gaia has left. She has now like passed on.
The heartbeat is like dying.
Yeah,
like Earth itself is dying, because like the crops can't grow. That's why like cannibalism has become so popular. It's like.
Well, yeah, there's no vegetation, so there's no wild animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Sorry, technical difficulty again. Everything's falling apart.
Can you do the please stand by from falling?
I can.
That'd be funny.
I can put that in there.
Cool.
Sorry about that, guys. We were just talking about the woman.
Oh yeah, the mother, the wife, and like I guess trigger warning and everything. There's the big conversation that he is having with this woman who is they are the parents of this child. Is is that it has gotten to a point where families are committing suicide now because it is so bleak. There is
everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, it's this really like crazy is a rude word. It's this really intense, very quiet conversation,
but very real,
very matter of fact. And it is a conversation about a woman talking about basically if it wasn't for him, she would have killed herself and her child long ago.
Yeah.
And now, like we were saying earlier, she hates him, that they are now so much more prolonged in this situation.
She's even at a point like, because it's like this conversation happens over, they have 2 bullets left.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them. And she's like even saying like, let me take him with me.
Yes. But
he doesn't deserve to live in a world like this.
And in that whole like point, if it wasn't for you, she would have done it already.
Yeah.
It's and that's what's really interesting about this movie too, is the quietness that it is.
Well, it's
quiet in the sense you can hear a pin drop, but it's a very big pin dropping.
Yeah.
You know?
The thing that I love the, I'm forgetting the word, but it's kind of like everything's kind of flipped on its head when it comes to like the like characters and like what am I trying to say here? You have like Eli, the old man, and also he's the only one with a name in this entire story.
I thought his son was named Eli.
No. He's talking with the old man, and he's like, "What's your name, old man?" And he says, "Eli."
Oh yeah, and he's like, "Eli."
No, because like credited on everything. You look at it, it's man, boy, woman, thief. No one has a name except for the old man.
No, even Robert Duvall's credited as old man.
Well, yeah, but in IMDb,
Yeah,
but
no, I just forgot because I remember him talking about his son. I thought his son wasn't named Eli, but you're right.
No, he doesn't. He just brings up I had a son
because the man also has this weird attitude about it.
Yeah. Well, because he's protecting his son and all that stuff, you know.
Why did he have to be a dick about his name?
He wasn't a dick about his name. What are you talking about?
Because he says his name's Eli, and then he goes Eli like that, and then the old man is like, that's kind of like, is there a problem with that? They have a weird little interaction.
No, at that moment, he's like, Eli, don't hold his hand. Like he watches his son grab the old man's hand. That's why he has a problem. Anyway, that's not the point I'm trying to get to.
Get your point.
Well, Eli, so he's the only one with a name in it, which is also, that's an interesting thing, that the oldest character in this entire story has a name, and it's the idea of like a dying, like,
oh, like what is the point?
It's the last remnants of an old world, an old man, and like the only name we get, and it's just like, this is a world that's going like die off with them. But then like the way, like most stories, this old man would be, he's like the wise old man, which he's a wise old man in his own right, but he's talking like bleakness, like well, if there was a God, then he gave up on us.
Well, but there's also this kind of realism to it.
Exactly, yeah.
But the whole like, do you ever wish for death? And he's like in our situation, we can't wish for luxuries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like
that's why those conversations are really
intense, like really deep. But like that's the thing, is that everything is just kind of flipped on, like in a sense of like what your traditional story would be. Is like, you know, if you're going with like a hero's journey type thing, the old wise man that, you know, guides you on the path. Like this is an old wise man, but he's telling it's real. It's like, this is the end type stuff. The wife who would generally, it's like trying to be uplifting. She's degrading and giving up hope and doesn't love her husband anymore.
Well, I mean, you really get the juxtaposition, stark difference when you, towards the end, when you meet Guy Pearce and, Molly Parker, because that is just so, the Guy Pearce's character is trusting and wants to bring in the boy, his partner, whoever this person is happy to see there's another child, sees
I have thoughts on that, actually.
Future.
Yeah.
But even then, going back to the old man too, even that whole conversation where the heaviness of it about how he had a boy and he is almost scared to tell this father what happened with his son.
Yeah.
Because of his dynamic with his kid.
Yeah, because he's like, can you tell me what happened to him? He's like, no,
not to you.
Not to you.
Specifically,
I can't tell you.
And you're kind of like, oh shit, something went down there.
You can interpret in 2 ways as well. It's like, I'm not going to tell you because then you'll know what I did. And I don't want you to murder me because of what I did to my boy. And then to protect your boy, you think, whatever. Then on the flip side, there's also like, I can't tell you what happened to my son because it will, you will protect you. you would want to protect your son more. Like it's like you don't want to hear what happened to another man's son.
Yeah. I mean,
in the situation that you're in, you don't even want to think about that happening.
Or and there's even, you could even, I don't want to tell you because I don't want to give you ideas. I don't want to put something in your inception. You want to put something in your head.
See, we're going down a dark path right now, and that's what this fucking story is.
That's what the writing is, and it's very interesting to leave it very obtuse and for your own imagination. It was very. Like,
well, and it's like like I said, like it's a good inverse of like a story because like instead of being happy and uplifting and the hero's journey, the hope at the end, the man then saves the boy type thing. It's the man, spoiler, the man dies and he isn't uplifting. The story is sad. You don't really.
The book did emphasize that him being sick more. I will say that was another kind
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's probably easier. That's easier to do through the pages and not beat someone over the head with it in a visual way.
Yeah. Because in the book from the get-go, he's very, very sick already. And they kind of slowly brought that, like now he's ash and he's having some kind of lung issue because of this planet, this atmosphere we're on.
Yeah.
That was one thing I did notice. But yeah, that is an interesting point about the inverse of the hero's journey thing. This is a bummer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like he takes the hero's journey and he just like flips every moment of it into instead of it being like a thing to overcome and become stronger and better, it's the sad. It happens, but it's sad.
One of my favorite moments of this whole movie actually is kind of towards the end, and he gets shot in the leg with the arrow, and then shoots that guy in the chest with a flare gun. I was just like, whoa, like escalate quickly. But he goes, he's like, I'm gonna get them. He gets up there and realizes it's another man and woman. And
why are you following me?
Why are you following me? I loved that. Why are you following us? You've been following us. I loved that acute paranoia
that everyone
is just sharing in this kind of grand delusion because it has been so dog eat dog for so long, and everything is just it's complete social constructs have just completely fallen to our baser instincts. I just thought that was such a great moment, and kind of to bring this
even like the thief played by Michael Kenneth Williams. He's like why have you been following me? He's like, hey, no one's following you, dude.
Yeah, he has this.
I just saw your stuff, and it was an opportunity.
But also, lo and behold, at the end of the movie, they were being
followed the entire time.
They just didn't know.
Which then comes to my question.
No, it's just because then also it just creates the idea of, did the man know they were actually being followed, or
100%.
was it just the cute paranoia of assuming they were being followed?
I think it was both, all of it.
Because he didn't believe the son when he saw the other kid. He completely disregarded that.
I don't think that wasn't him not believing his son. He was gaslighting his kid pretty sure. Like, nope, you didn't see anything. Nope, you didn't see anything. Gotta get out of here. Because he knows there is somebody. But he doesn't want. He's trying to protect his kid. We can't go and talk to those people, dude.
Because they're gonna eat us, or they're gonna hurt. They're gonna hurt
so you didn't see anybody. No, don't think about it. There was nobody there. There was nobody there.
Oh, and the book thing too. I really loved the and it's just something you don't really think of the fixation on shoes.
Yeah,
which is like you're like, yeah, that would really be a big fucking thing, right?
Well, even at the beginning, he's like, and protect our feet.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh,
and that's kind of like, well, I mean. It's the thing that carries us.
Yeah. And it's just one of those until it's hurt, you don't really realize. Yeah, exactly. That it was weird to have this happen after this. And you're just like, you're a man, just
simulation.
Few hundred years ago, man. Fucked.
Yeah. and now you hobble forever.
Yeah. If you make it.
Right.
Okay, your question. Let's go.
Okay. So the very end, Guy Pearce shows up, veteran, and he's like, come with us, dumb boy. They were clearly following man and boy. Mm-hmm. So were they waiting for man to die to then take the boy in? or were they following, waiting for an opportunity to reach out in kindness and connect with man and team, like be like a traveling group together? Or like, I guess that's kind of like what is the motive of, like, and that's another thing. We don't get this in the
this is a complete speculation on what you think.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, this interest, like open interpretation, because like there's this sense of like, find the good people, know who the good people are in this. And even like the boys like, do you carry the fire inside? And Penner's like, what the fuck did you just say?
Weird little cult member. Like, what are you talking about?
And they only approach the boy. You can he's like, they've only approached the boy because now they do know
the threat is
the threat is gone.
Is gone.
And so is this like their little troop of family or whatever? Are they going around and just trying to protect young children? Or is it just this family that this young boy and man, they saw that the man was dying and the wife was like, that boy's going to be left out here all alone. We need to keep tailing them so when he inevitably dies, that boy can be taken care of. Like, where is like, it's one,
like my personal opinion. Where do I think it was?
I mean, you don't have to necessarily answer, but it's like,
I have one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I kind of feel like in the smart thing. All right. In this kind of world, and we've seen it with so many different kind of films, the paranoia takes hold, and the paranoia ends up causing catastrophic outcomes more often than not. So in the smart way is to keep that kind of some form of that caution and paranoia, but look at from a distance and just watch the interactions that have happened to really get a gauge. Just because it's, that whole thing that people act a certain way because they think they're on camera thing. So, but in this world where everything has been broken down, if you watch them long enough from a far, safe distance, you will get a pretty clear depiction of what kind of person they are.
And the erratic nature of a man clearly makes then veteran Guy Beese's character be like,
wary of said man.
Well, he's definitely not going to
hey bro, like he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's an interesting idea to think that this entire story, even from the point of the narration, we get the narration from the father in the movie. And then it's kind of more of a
third person point of view.
Kind of point of view. So it's kind of fun to think that this is them just testing the waters. At the end of the day, we need to get the boy. Whether the father is with him or not is inconsequential. Inconsequential. Like, we want the kid, but then you're also, and then that becomes, do they want the kid for good reasons or do they want the kid for bad reasons?
Yeah.
But
it's strange. Like, after the father's death, the only glimpse of possible hope in this story is this family coming over to take the kid in.
That's an interesting moment. I just had this thought when I was watching it, when we have this death rattle scene with them saying, like goodbye and whatever, and their final farewell. That was very interesting to me because they have that scene and then there's this great shot where, he says like, bye, Papa. And then he goes off to the beach and it's just him looking out across the water. And just that shot of just how alone this child is now, that got me choked up. Not really the father leaving thing. That was sad. Like, obviously it's a sad moment, but just that quiet, just him, and the vastness of this gray ocean where you can't see anything.
There are so many movies I love when they do shit like that. Like, there's one in Romeo plus Juliet where Leo, it's like very far away and it's like down the strip and you just see like Radiohead's playing in the background. Dun, dun, dun.
I want you. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just like this like empty, like this like just vastness and aloneness to it. Banshees of Inisherin, them on the beach, far away. I
just gotta rewatch that movie. That movie just didn't click. It just didn't click in any way, shape, or form in my brain. But yeah, I just thought that was just so interesting because I was like, it was a really good way of doubling down on our emotional investment.
Mm-hmm.
it's like you had this goodbye of father and son, and that's gonna get you. Or depending on your personality, this young boy just being this alone, that's gonna get you. And you're just like, wow, this really sucks. And then
what a sucky world.
yeah, and then you see this man, and every interaction that we've had with humans, really, there have been one good, one bad, where your dad was the murderer, one where your dad was willing to let someone die, and then every other interaction have been cannibals trying to eat you. So you're kind of sitting there as an audience member like, what the fuck?
No, and it's also, that's a great scene as well with Guy Pearce, because he's like, just put the gun down. And the kid's like,
like, are you going to do something to me? And he's just like, no, I don't like guns being pointed in my face.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole thing that he is a veteran. So, you know, it's safe you could assume he's some kind of special ops or something.
What was, is that
what was that shot for? I don't know. I don't know if that was a book thing.
Well, because also, like, the thief, Michael Kenneth Williams, he didn't have his thumbs either.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, you put up his hands, his thumbs were nubs.
I didn't notice that. Oh, and that's why the kid looked at it, because he recognized that.
Yeah. And also, veteran, we know that as, like, the title of the character for its screenplay. That I don't know. We don't, watching it, you don't know that. You don't know if he's a veteran, what he's a veteran of or anything.
Yeah, you don't have it. Well, that's the thing. You have no information about any of these characters, really, whatsoever. I mean, we do have that one moment of kind of hope and everything when they find that shelter, that bomb shelter.
And then they hear the dog.
Their dog. Yeah, as soon as you see the dog, you're like, you fucked that dog. It was all real.
Well, and the boy, because it's the same boy that...
Yeah, and you saw the boy too, yeah.
All right, we're over an hour.
Yeah, I was just real quick seeing just if in the breakdown there's anything about the thumb, but there is nothing about the thumb because I was very curious about that. But, what would the thumb thing be? Would that be like a punishment for like stealing? Like
that's what I would assume. Yeah.
So but you know, I don't know. Yeah. Rating time?
Yeah.
I'm going to start off with saying this movie is not for everybody. This is not something I'd highly recommend. This is a very bleak, very depressing movie, but it is absolutely gorgeous for that. Mm-hmm. And it's, if you're looking for something, I watched it on a cold, rainy Seattle day.
Very fitting.
It was cool. It was actually pretty cool. Found it brand new at Spin Cycle.
Really?
For $5? Yeah.
Nice.
In the cellophane and everything. I was like, what? That was cool. I mean, it's up there, but it's also, it is for what it is. It's almost like, it really is almost like a very long music video with very little music. You know, it kind of, because of the lack of dialogue, it's just these moments. It's, you know, it's the Lord of the Rings joke. It's two guys walk into a mountain, but this one they're walking to the ocean, you know. I don't know.
I actually kind of thought, I forgot, and I thought maybe I think I had projected this into the story. I thought when they got there and when the kid met with them, I thought there was a moment of like, you've been traveling the wrong way the entire time.
Oh, like a real just punch to the jugular.
Yeah,
stab to the jugular.
Like the man father has just
been wrong.
They've been running in circles on accident somehow.
That'd be a good ending.
That'd be
because the father never asked for help or anything. Mm-hmm. It would be just a giant joke about men never asking for directions.
I've got the map. I know how to read a map.
I know. I got the map.
I know what north is, right? Anywho, I mean, so in a sense, I will say for like post-apocalyptic movies and like stories, this is like a 5 out of 5 easily. Yeah. But as a movie, I'm bouncing between a 3.5 and a 4 here.
I was gonna go 4
because the way that the world is introduced and the way that the story unfolds and the way that they just like took out all this color and they decided to film if there was ever a rainy day, they're like, film it now. film now, run, you know?
Yeah, and I did see that it was, and I guess just for people that maybe also are from here or lived here, specifically in the Pacific Northwest, that's where a lot of this is filmed, a lot of Oregon.
Mount St. Helens.
Yeah, stuff. And that geography is such a green geography a lot of the time because of the climate that we're in, that having this particular area be as barren as it is very jarring, especially if you've lived out here like as long as we have. Yeah. And you've seen how green, you know, there's a rainforest, you know, up in the Olympic rainforest. Yeah. So I just think that's really cool. And I don't remember my point.
Cool. So 4?
Oh yeah, what they're trying to do here is make a bleak movie about the trials and tribulations of a father and son at the end of the world. They did that very, very well. Yes. Good job. 4 out of 5 carrots. Yeah. I think my pain stuff kicked in like halfway through there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, 4. I'm just realizing. I'm like, why do I feel? Oh, that's right.
When we worked together at Z Pizza, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I just looked at you. I can't do this. Just what?
And hit in the back. Yeah, I would say 4 out of 5, and I just want people to like understand too that it's a very particular taste. It's very art house film. There's no zombies. There's no real action.
That's kind of the important thing about it, though, is that it's not about what happened or why it happened. It's about survival.
Yeah, and on going what you said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened. Yeah, that doesn't change the fact that it happened, and there is no coming back. This is now the world. Yes. What are you gonna do? Father decides keep living for the child because the child is the word of God, and if he's not, then God never spoke.
I guess there is a lot of like questioning of like what is, you know, God, or like what is.
Yeah, and a lot of what is morality.
Yeah, what is morality? That's the best way. Yeah,
outside of a set society, out in the wilds, what is morality?
The Wild West.
So
Wild West,
and it gets that point very well across in a very quiet way. And there's not any of these crazy over the top monologues about what it means to be. It's just very quiet, very impactful conversations.
At the end of the world, you know, is there a God?
According to Duvall, no, he doesn't think so.
Well, I mean, are they talking about a Christian God?
How did he last so long? He's fucking blind and 98, he says.
Well, he's, you know,
I know.
Yeah. But
it's like impressive, man. Good for you.
Swindles people.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, what did you do to stay alive, man? Like, you did some stuff.
The kindness of some people's hearts, you know.
And he stabbed him in those hearts. Allegedly. All right, so 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
All right, so that was our review of 2009's The Road.
I don't remember what we're doing next week. I think we still need to talk about it, like to solidify it.
Oh, okay. I know what we were thinking of doing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say it.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we're going to continue on, though, with the apocalyptic kind of thing to go along with the Fallout series that has now released. Looking forward to watching that. That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. I'm very curious. We are both longtime Fallout fans, so let's see.
You so more me.
How they do. Yes.
I said that right?
Yeah. You
so more me.
You so more me. Just rewinding the tape. But yeah, so join us next week. We will solidify what we're going to do, and you can look out for the promos and stuff. Follow on Instagram, on Facebook. On all those posts, there's a link tree that will take you to our link tree, where you can find all the connections to YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you might listen to your podcast. Like, subscribe, rate. It'll like help us get it out there, self-produced. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all the stuff. Share with your friends. If you like movies, come give a listen. I would love to hear from you. And this is Tommy.
It's Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. We're going to hit the road.
End of the world.
Okay, I got to pee. Bye.